Welcome into the Daily Dynasty Show. My name is Spencer Smith, and today I'm joined by Jackson and Wells from Prediction Strike. What's up, fellas?
What's going on, my guy? Thank you for having us.
Just getting into it. Long season. My redraft team is now in shambles as I had both Jaden Daniels and Tucker Kraft, so that was a fun week 9 for me. But yeah, we're here. I'm excited to chat to you, Spencer.
Absolutely, man. I'm excited y'all are here. Today we're going to be talking about 3 more games from Monday. We're going to be doing some waiver wire players that you need to be getting off the waiver wire for week 10 and a draft. Top 5 dog breeds. You don't want to miss a thing. Let's go. Alrighty, fellas, so let's just kick things off right here. The first game that I want to talk about is the Bills and the Chiefs. It was a 28-21 victory for the Bills. Now, on the Chiefs side of things, Rashee Rice, he had himself a day, 4-7 for 80 yards, 2 rush attempts for 6 yards and a touchdown. Travis Kelce was solid, tied in 7 on the week. Kareem Hunt was okay, but outside of that, this Chiefs team was just lackluster. And don't let the final score, fool you. If you were actually watching this game, it was brutal for the Chiefs to get anything done most of this game on offense. But this was a statement win by the Bills. Chiefs are now 5-4. Bills are now 6-2. Fellas, what did y'all think of this game?
I want to let Jackson get started on this one because I won't lie, my schedule got a little bit messed up yesterday. I was fortunate enough to go see The Machine live and in person.
Oh, that's cool.
So I was at a comedy show for the second half of the game, so I was unfortunately not able to pay as much attention there. But Jackson, what did you see?
Yeah, obviously statement win from Josh Allen there. I mean, I think it was more kind of a good sign for Josh Allen, the Bills, rather than necessarily a terrible performance from the Chiefs there. Josh Allen had in my opinion, what was pretty much as perfect of a game as you can have against a defense like the Chiefs. But,
Right.
Mahomes was still kind of looking like Mahomes at the end of that game, converting on 4th down in the 4th quarter and all of that. So, I mean, just huge statement win from the Bills. Love to see that. No Mahomes black magic involved. So, I mean, amazing game.
Yeah, I mean, down the stretch, you started thinking, here we go again. Because the majority of the game, they couldn't get anything going. And then they score. And then they get the ball back. It's 21-28. Here we go. Are the Chiefs going to be able to get it done? But, I mean, they can't get it done. They can't get it done. And again, big statement win by the Bills. And this is, I mean, as of right now, statistically, the Chiefs are not even in playoff contention. Now, of course, we still have the rest of the season, but if the season were to end today, the Chiefs would not be in the playoffs. So the Chiefs are staring down the barrel of a possible playoff out. They're going to have to turn things around. They're still 5-4, but man, what a season this has been for the Chiefs. The Bills, like we said, are 6-2. I love this Bills team. But why don't we move over here to this next game? That was the 49ers and the Giants. 32-24 49ers win. Mack Jones is just so fun to watch in this offense. More on that here in a little bit. Jackson Dart is clearly the guy for this team. What he's able to do with literally nothing around him. No Cam Scatabo, no Malik Neighbors. Playing with wide receiver 3s and 4s out there. Solid game by him. The injuries keep piling up for the Niners, but they still get the win. 6-3 for the Niners now. Giants are 2-7. What did y'all think of this game?
I mean, honestly, I expected the Giants to do a lot better here. I was thoroughly surprised that they didn't do more. This defense is not what it once was, considering the losses of Fred Warner and Nick Bosa. But I really didn't expect a running back by committee approach with Devin Singletary and Tyrone Tracy. Everything that I was kind of looking at indicated that we'd be getting a lot more usage out of Tyrone Tracy. That was wrong.
Yeah.
Expected a bigger day out of Darius Slayton. That didn't seem to be the case. Jawan Jennings finally found the end zone, so that was a positive for him. But overall, it just seemed like McCaffrey dominated the game more than anything. And I was just thoroughly unimpressed with how the Giants went about it. But
talking week 10, are you still picking up Tyrone Tracy off of waivers if he's available?
Probably not. I've got a few guys that are a little bit more interesting to me, just because we have the trade deadline tomorrow, so I want to see if we can potentially get ahead of the others on that.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's definitely a fair point. I think comparatively speaking to other players, yeah, maybe not. But as far as if he's the cream of the crop in your league because other guys have already been taken, I definitely would still be looking at why not. But again, like you said, we got the trade deadline tomorrow. But, I mean, Jackson, what did you think of this 49ers and Giants game? And what do you think of these teams going forward?
I think Jackson Dart's great. I think he's going to have a lot of success just generally in the NFL. I think it's going to be a little bit hard for this Giants team just to kind of get back into their groove after that massive loss of Cam Scatterbo. It's a young team. Obviously, we're kind of beginning to build their offensive scheme around him and being able to rely on him to sort of just push the ball. But the 49ers, I mean, huge win for them. Obviously, like super inspiring for them that Mack Jones was able to have such an electric game, passing for 230 something yards and 2 touchdowns. And as long as, guys like Juwan Jennings, I think, can just stay healthy, George Kittle, like they should be absolutely fine. CMC looked like CMC, also had a bunch of catches. So I think the 49ers should be fine as long as they stay healthy. Relative strength of schedule going forward, how hard is the Niners schedule?
I'm not sure off the top of my head.
Should be easy, I'd imagine.
Yeah.
They went in the season with the softest one, so I don't think it's going to change too much by now.
Yeah, so exactly. So I think they should be fine going forward relatively as long as they can stay healthy. Yeah.
So, well, let me ask y'all this. I spoke about this yesterday with a buddy of mine, but let me ask y'all the QB controversy possibility between Mack Jones and Brock Purdy. Is there even one, or is this more of a thing of after the season? Mack Jones knows his place this season. He's been playing great, but after this season, maybe he's earned himself a contract elsewhere, or he remains the backup, but there is no controversy. I mean, what's y'all's thoughts on how great he's been playing, but with Brock Purdy coming back?
Mack Jones is going to be a starting quarterback somewhere else. I'm very confident in that. As for where, I just don't know. I think that is a bigger question to kind of weigh of like, where is he going to land? Because we've just seen time and time again where the more you give these guys time to actually like mature in the league and just get more comfortable, they're going to develop into potentially something a lot better. Like, look at how Baker Mayfield's playing right now. Look at how Sam Darnold's playing, albeit like Daniel Jones curtains just got pulled right there. Yeah. But like, that's a very small sample in what's been a very, very, very good season for him. Mm-hmm. So in general, I think you're going to see some team be like, you know what, we don't like what we have here. Mack Jones, we're going to give you another chance. But that's just my kind of gist.
Jackson, what do you think of the possibility of, is there even a QB controversy here, or no, there's not?
I think ultimately they probably bring back Brock Purdy as the starting quarterback. And like Wells said, Mack Jones seems like he'd be a great fit on a lot of other teams when there's been, quarterback injury kind of after quarterback injury here. So I don't personally think there is going to be a huge quarterback controversy. I think Mack Jones ultimately, like Wells mentioned, finds work elsewhere just because he has been looking so good. But yeah, what do you think, Spencer?
I think that, Brock Purdy just signed that contract. So, I mean, it's not like money-wise the 49ers really have that big of a chance. And I don't think that Brock Purdy is not the guy. I mean, I definitely think he was deserving how he's played. He literally was in the Super Bowl. I don't think that he's not deserving of the money and not deserving of the starting QB position. There's just been injuries there. And, the 49ers, anyway, as of late, past few seasons have just been cursed with injuries. But Mack Jones is Shanahan's guy. He's the one that we all believe he wanted in that draft with Trey Lance and Justin Fields and Mack Jones. And so on one hand, that's the only reason you could even say maybe controversy. But monetarily speaking, money-wise, the 49ers, now again, last offseason we would be saying the same thing about Kirk Cousins and Michael Penix, but the 49ers really don't have a way to allow Mack Jones to be the starter. I think this is just, he understands his role. He knows he's just doing his job. He's the backup to Brock Purdy. He's doing phenomenal at his job, playing with guys off the street right now with all their injuries. But regardless, I agree. I think ultimately he's putting on a good showcase to be the starter elsewhere next season. And speaking of new starters, let's pivot here to the Vikings and the Lions. So J.J. McCarthy, this is his rookie season for all intents and purposes with him starting this year. But battling with injury, but now he's back, and he's back getting the win against the Lions, 27-24. Vikings win. It was a division game. Jahmyr Gibbs was atrocious. McCarthy had himself a okay day. You know, he threw the interception, but had 155 total yards, 2 touchdowns, and more importantly, got the win. Vikings are now 4-4. Lions are now 5-3. And again, kind of, you know, same question throwing at you guys just as the last 2 games. What's the thoughts on these 2 teams going forward rest of season?
I'll let you go, Jackson.
Yeah, I'm rather confident the Lions should be fine, but I think there might be some overreaction to, you know, specifically for JJ McCarthy, you know, behind this Vikings win. Like, I don't think he had an amazing game or anything really.
Yeah.
He obviously didn't throw for a ton of yards. He threw an interception. He was also looking shaky, in my opinion, you know, in the league before that injury. So there's a lot more I need to see personally from JJ McCarthy before I'm like confident in him as a leader of that team. But you know, it was impressive to see them get a win over the Detroit Lions, obviously. So I think I just need to see more. But positive, I think it's like cautiously optimistic with these Minnesota Vikings.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the short answer for the Lions is they are a wagon. I'm not concerned. I'm very curious to see if the reason why they lost this game more than anything was the fact that like they really want to get Jameson Williams going. I'm curious to see if like there's underlying metrics that are indicating that. But this was one of the few calls I had right this week that I was very confident in, and that was the Vikings pulling off the upset. My logic here was this: the narrative around JJ McCarthy has gone a bit too far, and I just don't see a lot of people playing well after having a kid and being up all night for that event and then going into the next day and playing that game.
Yeah.
And that's what the sample that a lot of people were utilizing against him. And we've seen the Falcons have pretty good defense against a decent amount of quarterbacks, aside from our holy savior, Drake May.
Right.
But with that said, like, I just think that, like, they're going to be a lot better. I'm going to save my rest of my kind of digression there for a little bit later, because you can kind of tell where I'm going with JJ McCarthy, especially as a Jalen Daniels owner.
Yeah.
But I have a question actually for you guys in a similar vein, because I do think there actually is a legitimate controversy here. Kyler Murray versus Jacoby Brissett.
Wow.
Who is the starter for the rest of the season?
I think that, I mean, pay-wise, you would say Kyler. I mean, but my thing is, into the beginning of the season, well, after a few weeks this season starting, I really solidified in my thoughts that Kyler is just not going to be here long term. He definitely won't be here by 2028, whatever new facility they're getting. But I definitely think, I don't know if it's after this season or next season, but he's just not the guy for them. I'm not saying he's not a startable QB. I just don't think for them he's the guy. Now, rest of season, that's tough, because I think that with Brissett in, this offense works like slightly better. It's not wildly better, but it's like enough marginally more positive in my mind that maybe you just say, let's just go ahead and get this over with, Carson Wentz, Jalen Hurts style of, not that Brissett is the Jalen Hurts in that situation necessarily of the new up-and-coming rookie, but the guy that takes over for rest of season and then Kyler's out the following offseason. So I could see Brissett. I mean, Jackson, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I don't feel too strongly over which one is like better than the other or which one would be an improvement in the Cardinals offense, but I will say I think tonight Brissett probably goes out and has like an awesome game against this Cowboys defense, and that flips the narrative even more to like Brissett should be the guy. And I mean, I do think there's obvious improvements, right? Like the ball gets spread around more. Like receivers that didn't get any work under Kyler Murray are getting work now.
Right.
So it looks like an improvement. I mean, we'll see over a larger sample size, but yeah, it's hard for me to say just because obviously there's the like rushing upside with Kyler and everything. He's young, so.
Yeah, I mean, solid take. And speaking of that, let's transition here into some of the NFL news that's taken place over the last few days. And of course, I think the top of the news here is Jaden Daniels. I mean, what a nasty injury. Why is he still in the game when you're down that much with 7 minutes left anyway? I mean, there's no way you're coming back now. The Broncos might say, excuse me. But point is, Jaden Daniels, man, nasty injury. Definitely more than likely out rest of the season, but it was his non-throwing arm, so maybe they'll strap a cast onto him, knowing Washington, and say, actually, why don't you just go out there anyway? But yeah, he's out rest of the season. Terrible, terrible dislocation, Jaden Daniels. You hate to see it. You hate to see it. And let me ask you guys, it's already been pretty tough as an owner of anybody on this team. You know, with Terry McLaurin, he finally is healthy, and then he just goes right back out. What does this mean for Debo? What does this mean for Bill Krosky-Merritt? I mean, what does this mean for these players in y'all's mind? I mean, let's just start here with you, Wells.
I actually I didn't hear about that. That was honestly such a good point that you brought up about the Denver Broncos fourth quarter comeback win, because I was sitting there. I'm not gonna lie, I may or may not have placed a wager thinking that they were all going to sit in the fourth quarter. And of course, they're out there in that final drive, and we had the outcome that came from Jaden Daniels, so I was a bit salty about that. But I was wondering as well, I'm like, why the hell would you be playing it? Like, this game is over. But you just pointed out the fourth quarter win of the Broncos. I think that is going to inspire a few more teams to play a little bit more into the stretch.
Yeah.
So, God, that's so smart. But aside from that, though, Jacory Krosky-Merritt's dead to me. I love the talent. I think he's very interesting. Jaden Daniels is part of why we were excited.
Right.
And now he's gone. Debo, I think there's life to him and Terry, just because it's like, yeah, you're going to have spots where they're going to go well, but it's just like, this is now a defense or a team that we're probably all projecting if we were to start the season off like, 5-6 wins maybe. So I'm just like, I don't have a lot of optimism, unfortunately. I'm willing to buy like Debo and Terry for like dirt cheap prices. I think Mariota's an okay waiver wire ad, but that's really about it.
Jackson?
Yeah, that's pretty much what I was gonna say is like from a fantasy perspective. I think Debo should be fine just because like the games he's played with Mariota, his first read has just been so insane. Like Mariota just seems to like to connect with Debo, so he should be fine. Other pieces you'd be concerned for, like McNichols tends to see a lot more work under Mariota relative to JCM, so that's going to hurt the fantasy stock of JCM. I think it's pretty much just going to be hurt across the board. Unless you're talking guys that aren't really fantasy relevant anyways, like Luke McCaffrey and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, and speaking of Luke McCaffrey, I mean, he's out the rest of the season as well now with that broken collarbone. Yeah. I mean, RIP to that.
Oh, is he really? Yeah. I didn't even know that.
That's Jalen Lane and Chris Moore season over there.
I mean, this is getting ridiculous with Washington. But speaking of receivers anyway, the deadline is approaching. The deadline is coming. Which wide receivers, number one, do you think is more likely to be moved out of these players? You've got Jalen Waddle. You've got Chris Olave. I heard rumblings of Jalen Hyatt possibly being moved, but out of those two big names, those are two of the biggest names possibly being moved. You got Jalen Waddle and Chris Olave. The Dolphins already stated, I believe it was either Sunday morning or Saturday evening, that they are listening to calls, but it would be expensive. So they are already saying that up front, and obviously so. They don't have very many pieces, but he's one of them. Out of Jalen Waddle and Chris Olave, who's more likely? Do you think they're both likely? And after that, answer where you would like to see them go.
I'll let Jackson get us started on this one.
Yeah, I'm going to say probably Waddle. And where would I like to see him go? Nowhere. I wish the Dolphins would keep Waddle. That's my team, and he's an elite talent. But I mean, just considering like the Dolphins making several moves for picks, like they seem to be moving in the direction of, making moves like this. You mentioned that they're listening to calls. So I think that's like, for me, it makes the most sense for us to see Waddle get moved before Hyatt or Olave. But
yeah,
what about you, Wells?
I think they have the same likelihood, to be honest. I think they're elite young receivers that the teams really don't want to attach to, because whatever quarterback they end up putting there next year, or however they end up setting it up, is they want that receiver attached to them. But like you said, it all depends on the price. My honest take is it's probably going to be Rashid Shaheed. That seems to be the guy getting a lot of calls, but I guess I'll lean towards the Olave side, just because don't they have a whole entire, they're basically in debt more than America is, it sounds like.
Yeah, the Saints are in rough shape cap-wise.
They've got to figure out a few things there. So to me, I feel like I'd have to lean towards Olave or Rashid, just because they're kind of getting squeezed there more than anything.
Yeah.
How about you, though? I'm curious. Where do you lean between those two? I know you've been sifting the streets.
Yeah, well, to me, it's definitely If I had to guess, I would think it's probably Waddle out of the two. Now again, both of them definitely, absolutely could be traded, but you got to think of it. It's kind of what you just brought up, was you got to think about it. Let's start with the Saints here. The Saints are in just the worst cap situation dang near every year, and slowly they're going to be able to get out of it. But what's not going to help you get out of it is paying a guy in Chris Olave that doesn't need to be paid by the Saints. He can be paid elsewhere, and he's a guy who get some picks from and try again. Let's keep kicking this can down the road, because right now, just like logically speaking, doesn't make a lot of sense to give him a 3 or 4 year deal, even if it's in the range of Devonta Smith. I mean, because statistically, it's not like him or Waddle have done much more outside of Devonta Smith, maybe Waddle, but really, what they've done statistically would warrant something like a 3-year, $85, $90 million deal. Now, not if you are being traded by one of these teams who desperately want you. And imagine if you're the Giants. Imagine if you're the Giants and you trade for Jalen Waddle, and you've got him side by side Malik Neighbors next year. Who Malik Neighbors you don't have to pay. Waddle you would have to, but you kick that can down the road, and in 2 years from now, when you have to pay Malik Neighbors, well, you've got better money still. You paid Jalen Waddle on a semi-good contract. Malik Neighbors is going to be getting Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, A.J. Brown type of money, but more by then. And so, but you think of Chris Olave, if he were to go somewhere like the Bills or to the Patriots, I mean, now you're really cooking with Crisco right there. You got Chris Olave on one side, Stephon Diggs on the other, and Drake May passing them the ball. I think those types of teams, the Patriots, the Bills, maybe not so much the Giants. That's kind of more of like just a fantasy take of it would be cool, but when you have only 2 wins, why are you trading for a guy like Waddle or Olave right now, this point of the season? But a team like the Bills or the Patriots, I could definitely see pushing their probability of the playoffs and deep into the playoffs, pushing it higher by trading for one of these guys like Waddle or Olave. So I definitely think one of them will be traded, but ultimately a long-winded answer is probably Waddle. That's my ultimate take. There is more than likely it's probably Waddle. And if you guys, okay, let's say Waddle or Olave is to be traded. Let's just say they are. Where would you guys like to see them go?
I mean, you brought up the 2 nut spots I would ideally like. I would love if we got them to the Giants, but I thought you made a great point on why would you make a move like that for a team that's really going nowhere?
Right.
At least this season. But like the Patriots, I mean, I still can't get over the fact that supposedly they're making moves for running backs. That's a whole nother conversation in itself. But like they need a true alpha or something like that, and I think that would be great. Like one of these 2 would be phenomenal in that offense, and they would genuinely be very, very fun for playoffs.
I agree.
Yeah, I agree. I think just to throw another team in the mix that I feel like could be fun too, maybe like the Jags or something, just with the injuries that went down.
Honestly, Jags.
I mean, and they've got 5 or 6 wins. So I mean, as much as I hate Shane Waldron for fantasy football, they get the wins. So real NFL, I mean, you like it.
Exactly.
But man, that's a whole other conversation. Brian Thomas Jr. is not the problem in my mind. There's a lot of factors around him that suck. Mainly that is Shane Waldron. Last thing here in the news before we transition into some players you should be looking to get off the waiver wire. The 49ers have been receiving a lot of trade calls for wide receiver Juwan Jennings per Ian Rappaport. This was interesting to me because, number one, he complained he wanted a bigger contract from the 49ers, and it was clearly strategic. I think he stepped on his own foot there, and that's why he only ended up getting a very small contract extension. But he was wanting a really big contract extension and basically using the fact that he was there last season when the guy you paid Brandon Ayuk was not and still hasn't been. So he was really, really trying to capitalize off of that. Ended up not working to as much as he wanted, but he did get that tiny, tiny little extension. So Juwan Jennings being possibly traded out of San Francisco. Now, this is a guy, price-wise, that would cost way less than Jalen Waddle or Chris Olave, but will not be putting up as much, in my opinion, as those guys. If Juwan Jennings was to be traded, where would you guys like to see him go? Is it the same places that we just mentioned or maybe somewhere else?
Same places, ideally. I thought your shout for the Jags was really smart because it just seems like nothing's going correct with the whole BTJ thing. Like, him and Trevor Lawrence could not get on the same page.
No.
So perhaps new horizons need to be opened up there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say that basically the same ones as last time. Just teams that have the opportunity to go deeper into the playoffs if they make moves midseason like this. So, Bills, Pats, guys like that.
Love it. Love it. All righty. Well, let's move on here to the waiver wire. These are going to be guys that we think you should be looking to get off your waiver wires going into week 10. Now, unlike the draft, which we'll get into right after this, we can actually have the same picks here. So if I or Wells or Jackson, if we kind of step on each other's toes here with the same pick, I'll just say, hey, I had the same one, moving on to my next one, unlike the draft, of course. But with the waiver wire, I'm going to start here with running back, and I really think you should be looking to go get Tajay Spears. Now, while I hate this Titans offense, don't get me wrong, Tajay Spears has averaged a RB18 finish over the last 2 games. So he's actually not been too bad. He had over 60 yards in this recent game. He had, I believe it was somewhere around 80 yards and a touchdown the game prior. So, again, it's not like he's getting insane numbers, but we're looking at injuries right now that has just been sitting with all of us. Running backs are definitely needed. And, again, it's already not a pretty name, the Titans. Not a pretty name. But Tajay Spears, averaging an RB18 finish the last 2 games, he's a guy that you could desperately, if you're in desperate mode with running back, that why not? Tajay Spears or Tyrone Tracy, I really think give me Tajay Spears. But that's my first one.
I like it. I'll keep us on the running back train while we're there. Terrell Jennings seems like an obvious add to me after getting 11 carries following the Ramondre injury, the Antonio Gibson. Antonio's obviously out on IR. So, he is, at least for me, a priority going into next week. They need new looks in that running back room anyway, so I think it's a good upside add.
Love it.
Yeah, I'm right there with you on Tajay Spears. I think if Tony Pollard is one of the more likely names to be moved at the deadline, so he serves as a great handcuff in that situation. But I'm going to go a little bit of a different way and change one of the letters from running back to quarterback here.
Okay.
I know a lot of people are going to be going after Marcus Mariota, and I think that is wise to a degree, just because you're looking after the ceiling or the mobile floor that he presents to you. But I also want to make sure that I have the numbers here, so bear with me for half a second as I make sure I have the right numbers.
No, you're good.
So let's look here, making sure. All right. So the thing that people don't understand about McCarthy is he is actually a little bit more mobile than Drake May, which is something we're looking for. And the reality is he and Jackson Dart aren't that much different from one another, at least in my eye. And the thing that I specifically love about McCarthy here is his playoff schedule. I don't think it gets better than this. And to me, that's all that really matters at the end of the day is winning our championships once we're there. And I think he's going to be able to support you because he's got a top 3 receiving room that he's going to consistently be throwing to with Kevin O'Connell at the helm. He gets to play the Cowboys in week 15. He gets to play the Giants in week 16 and then the Lions again in week 17. All 3 of those defenses have allowed the top 5 marks to fantasy receivers so far this season. Yeah. So if that's the case and he gets to throw to those guys, I think there's a very real chance that this hypermobile quarterback that no one wants to believe in could just be decent for fantasy. Now, is he a real life good quarterback? I honestly can't tell you. That's kind of the fun part about fantasy. We really don't know if these guys are actually going to turn into something good or not. But what I can tell you is that because he's going against theoretical bad defenses with his receiving core, he's going to be a really, really good value add for the quarterback.
Love that take. And with fantasy QBs, we saw it for years with Justin Fields. Is he a legit good quarterback? There's still people that believe the jury's still out. He's just been in bad situations. There's people who believe he's not. But for fantasy, when he starts, them legs are going to get us points. It's just a fact. But moving on here to my second guy, I'm going to go tight end here. I'm going to go Luke Musgrave. And the reason being, that tight end one that they had is out for the rest of the season. Tore his ACL. So this one's pretty easy. A lot of people in your leagues, obviously, is going to be going after him if he's available. But Luke Musgrave is my second guy that you definitely should be looking to go get.
Yeah, I'm just going to go right after you because I had Musgrave as well. It's just an obvious play here following the unfortunate Tucker Kraft injury that may have derailed at least one of my fantasy teams this weekend. But Musgrave looked great in, the moments where Kraft was absent last year and stuff. So I expect him to fill that role pretty handily.
Love it.
Yeah. I'll stick with the tight end train here. I'm buying the hype with Colson Loveland. We have the draft capital. We have the great profile. Cole Kmet also got injured in that game. That's part of why we saw the big usage bump, albeit it was the nuts spot for Colson Loveland to go off. Don't get me wrong. But the genie's out the bottle. You're not throwing that thing back in there.
No.
So I'm really excited about his future.
Yeah, Pandora's box, as they say, has been opened. And my last one, and this one's just kind of like staying with the Green Bay Packers, and is a really simple take, but it's just Jaden Reed. I mean, if he's available, or Christian Watson, with Tucker Kraft being out, one of these guys are about to be fed that much more. I mean, as much as I like Tucker Kraft, he's just going to fill in. I mean, sorry, as much as I like Luke Musgrave, if I could learn English, he's just going to fill right in to the Tucker Kraft role. Now, maybe not be fed as much, which, I mean, just statistically, mathematically, and logically would mean Jaden Reed and Christian Watson are about to be getting a target or two more per game, and that target or two more could be a red zone opportunity, could be an end zone opportunity. So either way, I would say Jaden Reed or Christian Watson. That was a little 2-for-1 combo there for me to end it.
Cool. Yeah, I'll keep it on the wide receiver train and go with Olamide Zaccheaus. I just think it makes a lot of sense. Like, he is kind of becoming who we thought Luther Burden was going to be. He's been getting more targets than him recently. He's just sort of overtaking that role, and he was still like there were games earlier in the season where he was also a big percentage of that first read, but he had a great game last week, 6 receptions on 8 targets. So, I mean, this is a super pass happy team going into a series of games where they should be pass heavy scripts. They've got the Vikings, Steelers, Eagles all soon.
Yeah.
So I think it's a great ad ahead of that.
Love it.
Yeah,
Wells, finish us off here, man.
I really like a Christian Watson shout. I think he's got a lot of life just because he's been so far ahead of schedule than any of us, I feel like, predicted. But I'm going to go with a little bit of weird one just so we have a little bit more variety here. Kyle Williams. I think this is the week to go get him off of waivers. When Kayshon Boutte went down with a hamstring injury, he was the direct replacement. And albeit he did not have the great fantasy day we would have loved him to have, but at the end of the day, routes create opportunities. And the fact that he ran more routes than Demario Douglas, the guy who had 100 yards yesterday, I'm willing to take a chance on him, especially considering it looks like whoever plays with Drake May, no matter our opinions, they find a way to get home. So willing to take a chance on Kyle Williams.
And hey, if y'all will come back down memory lane with me just for a little bit, our last podcast episode before the season started, I was all up on Kyle Williams. I loved me some Kyle Williams action, was comparing him to Rashee Rice's rookie season. You're not going to like him until towards the end of the season. Now, that's why I have not went back on my Kyle Williams take, because I'm giving him until the last 5 or 6 games of the season. But hopefully, I'm with you, Wells. Hopefully, we're about to start seeing that. So I like it. Hey, I like the Kyle Williams take there. I'm a Kyle Williams fan, but I'll either be right or wrong. We'll see here in about 5 or 6 weeks. But either way,
Hell yeah.
Moving on to the last part of the podcast here, the moment we've all been waiting for, the draft. We're drafting top 5 dog breeds. Now, this is a snake draft, so Jackson, I'm going to let you start. And this is how, since this is a 3-man crew today, here's how we're going to do it. We're going to go Jackson, Wells. I'm going to go back to back. Then it's going to go Wells. Jackson goes back to back. Wells, I go back to. You see what we're doing here? Little snake draft action, starting with Jackson. All right, and we cannot pick the same pick. So, Jackson, you have the 101. Give us your 101 dog breed.
Gotcha. So, bit biased, have had this dog in my family for a bit now. I'm a big dogs guy. So, I got to build out the O-line first. We're starting off classic with the Bernese Mountain Dog. Perfect mix between just picturesque, pretty dog and size. Could easily flatten most dogs out there. So I'm going to go with the Burner for my first dog.
All right, Bernese Mountain Dog. Got it. That wasn't on my list, so Jackson, definitely a solid 101 there.
Damn, Jackson, you stole one from me. All right. Trying to look through these. It wasn't my 101, but he was on my list. I'm like, I think I could probably get this guy in the third.
Right,
I was very wrong.
R.I.P.
Yeah, I'll follow a. I got to get the chalk out of the way. Why not? We'll go with the golden retriever there.
America's
golden retriever.
America's sweetheart. Yeah.
Love it. Yep. Golden retriever, definitely a solid pick. So far I've got all my picks so far. which is good for me. So my 101 here is a Corgi. Got 2 of them right now, and I love them. I love them. So they're a little bit smaller of a dog, but Corgis are just very pretty breed, but also just, they're a good lap dog. A good lap dog. And flipping it totally to the opposite spectrum here, my 102 is Husky. Definitely think that just a Husky is just such a pretty, pretty dog. So I'm going to start Corgi and Husky. Wells, where are you going with your second pick?
I feel like these are more popular in Florida, but a Labradoodle. I feel like they're a very unique dog, combination of a Labrador and a poodle. But I see them all the time around here. They're a very entertaining, fun, full of life kind of dog.
Love it. Love it.
Love it. I have to say the Corgi, I did not expect you to go Corgi, Spencer. They do have like the customization buff though, with like all the costumes they can wear and stuff. But
yeah, I mean costumes are good. Plus, and we're going basic with this draft, so it's not like if I say Husky and there's some Siberian red-eyed, albino Husky, you can no, we're just going Husky, just going Corgi. But with Corgi, and obviously other breeds, but with Corgi, you've got just the different types of Corgi. You got the classic orange one. We have we've got the Pembroke, which is the orange one, but we've also got what's called a cardigan Corgi, and that one is like, it basically looks like a miniature Husky. So it's like gray, black, and white with one blue eye and one brown eye. So, but yeah, definitely had to throw Corgi in there to start.
Cool. With my second pick, I think I can confidently take the Labrador Retriever. I think it's just super versatile, house dog, hunting dog, whatever you want it to be, it can be. It's pretty much like the Swiss Army knife of dogs, the Josh Hart, if you will, of dogs. Yeah. Don't know why I'm bringing it over to the NBA, but I'm going to go with a Lab Retriever, man.
All right, Lab Retriever. Hit us with your second back-to-back pick there, Jackson.
Gotcha. To close things off, I said I was a big dog guy. So I'm going to go with another huge one, the Saint Bernard. Just because.
Wow. Snipe me.
Got you, man. Got you. They're my favorite. This is my favorite build of dog here. I'm sure, I think a Saint Bernard could easily flatten any other dog that's been put up in this draft so far.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, that's
great for cuddles. Got to pick them. Yeah. So I'm going there.
Damn, right, I got sniped twice by Jackson's draft here. Yeah, all right. So I'll go with my home dog then, so I can go a little bit towards safety. Cavalier's King Charles Spaniel. Just very lovable dogs. Their eyes are always in opposite directions, which is hilarious because I've ever seen the movie? I forgot exactly what the movie is, but like the character Bugsy, that's how my dog reminds me. Okay. And he's adorable and full of love and life. So I absolutely love those.
And
dogs.
what was that? What was that breed called again? I don't think I've ever heard of that one.
It's a Cavalier King Charles. They're a very, very, very nice dog. Is the kind of the polite way to put it. We believe we got him for a discount, is what we say, because supposedly he, we'll say he's special. We'll put it that way.
Special in what sense?
There's a certain type of bus he would be riding if he was human.
Ah, gotcha. Hey,
gotcha.
Love them all the same.
Yeah. Nothing against it. Love them all the same.
Yeah. My next one
sounds
here.
Like a JUCO snipe, though.
Yeah.
King Cavalier, whatever. Yeah. Never heard of him before.
Yeah, I've never heard of that one. My next one here, and so far I'm able to keep getting everything off my list, but I'm going to go American Bulldog. I don't know if you guys have ever had one of those, but it's instead of, obviously Bulldog, short little dog there. American Bulldog more as, it's kind of like the same size as like a Dalmatian almost. A little bit bigger. But I do like me some American Bulldog. They're pretty. And then my last one here is a Pit Bull. So for my fourth pick, I'm going to go Pit Bull. Now, I say Pit Bull, but what I really want to kind of say here is I actually, me and my wife have a Husky Pit Bull mix. So a Pitsky, if you will. So while I have the Husky and the Pit Bull out in the backyard, give it a few years, and with 2 of my 4 picks so far, we're going to make a Husky Pit Bull mix out there. But anyway, Wells, hit us with your fourth pick there.
Yeah, I mean, I actually thought that was a really good show. Like, you guys keep on sniping my picks, man. I guess my board was too available,
Yeah.
but I'm gonna rock with the Frenchie.
Mm.
Probably one of my favorite experiences in college was babysitting dogs, and I got this really fun duo that was just absolutely called Bruno and Molly. And Bruno was this just very, very fat Frenchie, but the owners were hilarious because they're like, we have to put costumes on it, and everywhere he walked, he drooled like crazy, so cleaning up after him was annoying.
Yeah.
But the funniest part was like he had this massive gold chain that was hanging, and he would just walk around with it everywhere, so he looked like a straight up pimp. And then Molly was just a sweetie, lots of energy, full life, run around the place, had a little tiara on her head. It was awesome.
That's awesome.
So love Frenchies.
All righty, Jackson, hit us with your last 2 back-to-back picks here.
Okay, so no particular order here, just because I have these 2 picks at liberty of my choosing. So I'm going to go with a Chow Chow because, I think it's a sleeper. My personal, cutest breed of dog is probably the Chow Chow. Behavior-wise, definitely a bit vicious, but just aesthetically, very, very cute. Very round with the pointy tail, and they got the blue tongues as well, which I think is a big plus. Some people say they lick the moon. So
That's funny. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going with the Chow Chow there.
Love it.
Last. I know I said big dog, so I think I'm going to stick true to that and maybe go with the Great Dane.
Wow, that
just
was
for
on my honorable mentions.
Regalness.
Yeah.
Ooh, tough. Yeah, just so athletic, so regal. They just stick out in a crowd. Who are you going to notice? The Great Dane or the
Yeah, they're
other
also
dog,
like the size of
so.
a horse. So, but anyway,
Exactly,
Wells.
yeah, horse that never stops growing.
Yeah. Wells, hit us with that last pick there.
I love how I came into this with a draft board I felt pretty confident in that I'd get at least 5, and I was very wrong. So I'm trying to sprint through these now and see who I'm going to give the defense for.
Yeah.
So I guess I will be taking a chance on. Let's rock with the Chihuahua. Fuck. Girlfriend's family has a few of them. I'm not the biggest fan, I'll admit, but I feel like they're a staple in American culture at this point. On top of that, what other dogs do you know that actually have a movie or multiple movies made about them?
That's true.
So props to them. Props to them.
Yeah. With my last pick here, this is amazing. I've gotten every single one of my picks. And my last one here is going to be a collie. Very, very pretty dogs. If you've, you got Lassie, and just collies are incredibly pretty, incredibly pretty. But those are the top 5 of each of us. I end with Corgi, Husky, American Bulldog, Pitbull, and Collie. Jackson had a Bernese Mountain Dog, Labrador Retriever, Saint Bernard, Chow Chow, and Great Dane. And Wells had a Golden Retriever, Labradoodle, Cavaliers, King Charles. I'm going to have to look that one up after this podcast is over. A Frenchie and a Chihuahua. Y'all can vote down below, comment down below who you think had the better of the 3 drafts here. But man, let's talk about these honorable mentions, the guys who didn't make the cut. And I'll start here. Jackson, you can go next, and then Wells, you can round us out. I also had a Border Collie, so they're a little bit different than your normal Collie. But I had a Border Collie, a German Shepherd, a Rottweiler, a Bulldog, a Shih Tzu, a Wiener Dog, and a Yorkie. So those were all my honorable mentions that didn't make the cut.
Those are great honorable mentions, honestly. I think one that was kind of in the back of my brain the whole time I was going was the classic pug, just because they have the multiplicity factor going for them. Like you get 3 pugs, it's better than 1 pug. You get 6 pugs, it's better than 3 pugs. So love that about them.
Love it.
Yeah. 2 honorable mentions for me were going to be I was going to put the Dachshund because that's another family dog that we have way too many of. And then the Catahoula leopard dog, which is one that my dad wanted for a very, very long time that we've still yet to get. That is a hunting dog for those that aren't familiar.
Deep in the dog breeds here. I mean, half the list that you've said I've never even heard of before. But,
Dude's scouting department has insane investments going on.
I can't find the blue chips, but penny stocks, I'm right there.
I mean, he's literally sweating before this draft, that scouting department. Meanwhile, we're just literally saying, Corgi, Husky. This guy's over here deep in the weeds. I mean, this is ridiculous. But anyway, couldn't thank you guys enough for being on today. Make sure you guys leave a 5-star written review wherever you're listening, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. Follow Daily Dynasty Show on YouTube, of course, on TikTok, Twitter, and the Instagram battle is somewhat over. I mean, the main page is not back. But as of right now, we got a supplemental page. Daily Dynasty Show is on Instagram right now. You can go follow it. And I'll keep you guys updated if that ever comes back. But Jackson and Wells from Prediction Strike, what do you want to leave the listeners with today?
Make sure to download the app, join our Discord Prediction Strike Army. It's just a great community of like-minded sports fans who are more into investing in stocks than, just gambling on sports. So if that sounds like you, join our Discord, follow us on our socials as well. Make sure to give Daily Dynasty Show a follow as well.
Woo!
Yeah, I think that would be my biggest thing aside from downloading the platform. Make sure to follow Daily Dynasty Show so that way you can stay up to date with all the relevant fantasy information so you can invest accordingly, of course.
Hey, that's right.
So,
that's right.
appreciate
Investing accordingly using code DDS over on Prediction Strike. Couldn't thank you guys enough again. Jackson Wells coming on. And until the next podcast episode, see ya.